All right, we're recording.
Yeah,
Welcome to Let's Talk About It Tuesday. I'm Georgette, I'm the mom.
And I'm TJ.
He's the
I'm the son. I'm the host.
Oh, and we both study and work in the field of psychology, and we both passionate about sharing what we know with you so that you can live your best life. So today we're going to talk about masculinity. Because we started
Sex
talking
appeal.
Yeah, okay. Okay. We started talking about this on one of our walks because and I don't remember which one of us started it, but it occurred to us that masculinity could be prohibitive to living a healthy, a good, successful, happy life in some ways. But then you've probably
It sets certain precedents. That's hard to maintain.
Yeah.
You need the stars to align for it to be met.
Yeah, I'm glad to have a male co-host so that we can really talk about this with both perspectives.
Yeah, but I clearly lack masculinity.
Oh gosh. So many men today, I think, feel that the whole masculine ideology is under attack. You know, we hear the term toxic masculinity, right? How do you feel? Do you feel like there's, I don't know, like a negative associated with being masculine anymore?
Yeah, I think there's a negative with the striving of being, either one, like, because there's so much fluidity, you know what I mean, in reality, right? There's so much more like the men can't cry, men can't talk about shit. That, pardon my French, that is already limiting one of the biggest advantages we have as humans, which is the ability to talk out those things. You're already taking that away because it is not allowed. Right. They can't cry. One of the best ways to relieve a lot of us know, mostly women who know this, is crying, and men can't do it. We're unable to, right? We're only good if we're the breadwinner, we're this, we're that. And if you're not, because of maybe an injury, because of something, that you should probably take it easy on, maybe not even something that was within your control, all of a sudden you're nothing. When in all reality, there's so much more to you, but you put such a boundary on what constitutes purpose.
Yes, identity shakes your whole identity, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's only you have these purposes. Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
There is no possible purpose and passion elsewhere.
So you've identified some traits we normally associate with masculinity. Some other gender norms are toughness, dominance, self-reliance, heterosexual behaviors, restriction of emotional expression. That's what you were talking about with not being able to cry or talk about your feelings. Basically avoiding anything that's typically associated with femininity, right?
And there's a lot of really good qualities on the femininity side, gosh darn it. Seriously though, like pretty much all the sides that are cerebral, that are expression, that are self-care, that are,
Yes. Absolutely.
Overthinking too and other things, but still.
We're socialized into these roles in infancy. Nobody ever told me, well, this is how you be a woman, right? I just watched other women.
Feel like a woman. I knew how to, I learned quite easily how to be a woman. Thank you very much. Get out of here. That primitive crap.
Well, no, but seriously, people really don't, your mom doesn't say, okay, this is how a woman behaves. You just kind of watch other women, and then I identify with the roles or the traits that I guess speak to you, right?
And they see on TV,
right?
They see in life. They see.
Yeah, TV is a big way that we learned about those rules and those norms. Yes, very good. Of course,
yes.
So what I really want to talk about is traditional masculine gender roles. Like, emphasize the word traditional. What studies found with those men who conform to those traditional norms is that they have higher rates of mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, stress. They have lower rates of positive mental health outcomes such as...
Because we're too tough for that. Yeah. Because we don't care.
Right, such as life satisfaction, self-esteem.
Dude, guys are gonna hate me after this one.
Well,
Holy crap!
you think so. You think
Yeah,
so, but I think that we're going to put a little spin on it. But you know what they found was these negative outcomes are typically associated with the more sexist of the attitudes related to norms. So like playboy behavior, dominance, those kind of things.
Power,
yes,
control,
and also self-reliance. Self-reliance, I think, was a big one because.
Well, yeah, control, making it only you feeling like only you can do these things. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so self-reliance, that's an issue because men who value this trait are less likely to ask for help. They just won't ask for help. And so they're going to suffer in silence.
And here's the thing, because I talk about all the time in therapy sessions when it comes to the can you do it by yourself? Probably. Can you? May you not? Maybe. Should you do it by yourself? No, you shouldn't. It just doesn't make any sense. Can you be strong enough to do it? Probably. Should you? Why should you avoid this huge advantage once again that we have as humans, which is open expression and collaborative efforts, not just our own brain?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Most people that I have in therapy just say, all I needed was to hear it back from another voice. Self-reliance. Be confident, but once again, present boundaries. Consciously allow yourself this skill because you need to develop the skill of being comfortable asking for help.
Right. Restrictive emotionality is another one of those traits that can lead to less positive outcomes because, as we talked about earlier, you can't. In a lot of situations, men haven't even been given the tools to discuss how to express their feelings. They just were never taught how to do it. They didn't see it modeled. Yeah.
And what proves to be the best one normally for men? Physical activity, physical expression, exertion of, from a physicality standpoint, working out, sports.
Add to those challenges, there are also intergenerational challenges regarding masculinity, because as society changes, as the narrative starts to change, that puts stress on the connections even between men. And we see this in our household. You know, there's, an older generation that is very, very firm and conforms to the traditional male gender roles. And then there's the younger generation that doesn't want to conform to those so much. And that whole idea of what makes a man comes into question, right? And it can cause some tension in a hushold.
Yeah. Imagine the possible tension. Because I'll say this, actually taking applications, but what is it, house husband, right here. I will stay at home with the kids. If you bringing home the bread, I'll stay at home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You've seen some podcasts with me. I think the kid will be funny. May not be that cute, but the kid will be funny.
So there's another view about, he'll be cute too, by the way. There's another view, according to the APA, that characterizes masculinity by strength, stoicism, aggression, and power. Right? A little different, but still aligns very nicely.
But the one that consciously needs, aggression is more instinctual, power, more instinctual, strength, another thing that needs to be built, but that's stoicism. That control of emotions that must be trained and must be created and must be forged. Right. The ability to, when you think of stoicism, you think about the cow and then it's raining, just no change in the face. Unbothered, unaffected. That's what we must be as men towards other people. But that's the one the hardest, because so very easily are we bothered by other people. So very rarely are we calm, more so aggressive. So the calm is that strength that is control that needs to be more so consciously built. So I love the stoicism there, because what stoicism is, it controls that aggression. Stoicism controls that power. The stoicism controls what that fourth thing is that just slipped to my mind. Well, you don't have to go back.
Power, aggression, stoic. They're there.
I think I said strength.
Yeah, you got them.
Stoicism will
right.
also help with strength, because it will kind of pace down instead of what men will want to do, which is kind of overburn the candle, so to speak, very quickly. How very easy is it for guys to overtrain? You know what I mean? So.
Well, when you look at those characteristics, strength, stoicism, aggression, power, they're not bad in and of themselves. They're not bad. And in fact, they're
with control.
They're characteristics we want in our young men. We want our men to be resilient, empowered, able to perform.
Stop. Pause.
Okay.
This is it. This is the thing. This is the thing. This
Well,
is
I'm
the
not
thing.
done.
Hold on, I'm not done either. But you already said it. Sons. This is what we want our sons. You said masculinity, femininity. That's where we look at these things as being, it should be fluid. Don't we want this in femininity as well? Isn't there strength and aggressive?
Sure,
So that's what I'm saying. So
But
it's not just the men, about like you're doing a
right.
great
No,
job.
no.
But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I want this in my daughters as well. I've been just speaking to the men because I feel like the men are more feeling like they're under attack. But
I am attacking
yeah,
you guys. Yeah.
but no, for sure.
This is fun because now I know. Oh.
It is. You're right. It's so fluid anymore. What we really want is to raise all people like what you said with these qualities. To be that stoicism.
So
I
can stand.
It's so hard. And what we're doing here is
You
proving how
raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am stuck. Yeah, okay, I'm done. You're good. I wonder how that's gonna. I wonder how that's gonna sound. What are we talking about? What's this? Are we doing a podcast?
Yeah, we are.
What year is it?
We want to be stoic. We want to be able to, at appropriate times,
I do that too much.
to be able to face our enemies, to be able to face hardship. We want aggression. We want to be assertive, motivated, able to protect ourselves. We want power in work, in life, and in leadership. So all of those traits that we put under the category of more masculine are good. There's an expression: the most dangerous man is not one with power, but one who feels powerless. And I think that's really kind of interesting because, right, how do we react when we're powerless, like completely defensive, completely emotional? We actually want to empower people, all people, right? But we also want to include other characteristics, not focusing solely on those masculine traits: tenderness, kindness, compassion. I mean, we can go on and on about the other traits. Really, we're talking about kind of a
spiritual vitality, empathy, and fortitude.
Right. We really want kind of well-rounded, balanced people.
All those things that fall into masculinity, but are a little bit harder to manifest because these need to be created more consciously, where once again aggression and some of these other things are a little bit more instinctual. So once again, tenderness, that is, like once again a masculine trait, and some of the other things that you mentioned, empathy, empathetic. And so highlighting the entire list of characteristics, right? Not just highlighting the ones, because what do we tend to do is just focus on the one or two very, very big ones, and that's how you get stereotypes, right?
Right. Michael Gurian wrote actually a couple of books on how to raise men and how to counsel men. Masculinity, he says, at its heart is a husbanding vision of strength, purpose, honor, power, and compassion that culminates in the art of building a strong enough male self to be able to give that self to others in love and marriage, in parenting and mentoring, in work and in life.
That was...
I love that.
That was delightful.
I love that.
Yeah, all the quotes are sounding really good.
Masculinity, though, often gets a bad rap because we associate it with testosterone, violence, and other negative outcomes. But in reality, masculinity does not tolerate violence. It actually protects us from it.
That's what masculine is all about. Protector. We're a protector, protecting, right? We may overdo it. Trust me. I'm not saying that's not the case. But yeah, protector is more that case.
Right.
And how much do we take it personally when someone is not protected? Maybe in like a freak accident or something that,
right.
We hold these impossible standards like, they got killed in a car accident that you weren't even in the car. Oh, I didn't protect him.
Right.
You weren't even there.
Yeah.
Masculinity, you just I'm the protector. It's like, what the heck can you do in that situation? You're gonna hold on to thoughts that aren't, you can't,
like you said earlier, you can't meet those expectations.
You can't meet those expectations.
You came full circle there. There you go. We've been doing this too long.
I'm out, dude. I'm out. I'm done. I'm healed. I'm healed. Shit.
one thing we can do to address the issue is understand that those masculine traits are good and that they're, like TJ said, fluid. Like they can apply to any gender, really. One thing we can do is educate people about these. What they find that less educated men tend to believe it's very important for men to meet these standards. So those, what we consider traditional gender norms that sometimes aren't that healthy for us, the less educated a man is, the more important they feel like they need to meet those standards, right? And so we want to educate men because more educated men have opportunities or occasions to challenge those ideas.
Yeah, don't try to be manly. Don't try to be masculine. Right. Don't try to be like a certain type of man that is somebody else's idea. Just be the person that you want to be. It is super exhausting having to worry about fitting within a frame when your personality and your light doesn't need a frame.
Right.
It surpasses that.
Right. So we want to encourage those pro-social aspects of masculinity equally or even more so. One irony of this whole thing is going back to the self-reliance is sometimes the men who are most in need of outreach are less likely to get it because they feel like they're less of a man if they ask for help, right?
Yes.
So
egos hit. You can't do it. It's like, it's just like someone who like really needs money will deny a lot of money. It's just because of pride. And it's like, you don't, I mean, like as a man, like take the money and then just, I'm gonna pay you back. I'm working, pay you back. I just don't see why, like, it just makes things a lot harder than it needs to be.
It does.
Right? It just makes things harder than it needs to be. So just do yourself a favor, be a little more open-minded. You probably even recognize within yourself, there's already behavioral traits that kind of stem outside of that stigma or just that characteristic. So just keep an open mind.
Right. Psychologists have to be creative and find different ways to reach men like they do. So one thing I thought was interesting, and it's not, I can't get this message to go away. There we go.
Just keep it. It's not a big deal.
So one thing I thought was really interesting in looking at how psychologists work differently with men is that they need to incorporate movement into their discussions. It's most effective to take a man for a walk, and talk, because men need movement to connect words to feelings and memories. They're cerebellum dependent. I thought that was really cool because I never really thought about that before. And then also, incorporating movement too, because the cerebellum and spatial movement help the male brain move the neurotransmission between the limbic system, which is associated with emotion, and the frontal lobe, where the word centers are. So if you could incorporate visual images, that helps trigger the emotion center. So this is just some extra stuff I'm throwing in there because I thought it was interesting.
Well, because once we talk, as men, we have more testosterone, so we need more. We talk about behaviors that can keep us cognitively stimulated. As men, it's a little bit more helpful when those activities are more physical, like exercising, like walking, and like things like that. Because for us, we can get stimulated by Sudoku, but once again, with the testosterone, it's a little bit more helpful when you have more of a powerful stimuli, so to speak. So when you add the physical expression, that creates more blood flow and neural resources into the prefrontal cortex, which does open up to, the processing of thoughts instead of the emotions just saying no, me, no. Right? Me machismo.
So this week we want you to consider your negative views about masculinity, because it's
mine too.
It's not.
I feel like you're talking to me. My negative views on masculinity.
I want everybody to think about how they view masculinity and realize that some of those views are actually important, even important for our survival. Some of those traits, they're there for a reason, and so to be a little bit more open-minded about what your definition of being a man is.
Yeah, they're there for a reason. These instincts, once again, the power, the aggression. You need these things, especially in those moments when it's quick life or death.
Right.
You need power. You need aggression. You need those things, but you do not need them in all facets of life. And we have a very easy way of putting those things in every facets of life. So all those things, once again, just with a little more control. You don't have to be oozing out aggression. You have to be oozing out strength, but you do need that comfortable balance, much like how everybody needs a comfortable balance of everything.
Yeah.
So just strive to be a person, a human.
Right.
Human that can do
Be
it all.
the best you.
A human that can do it all. Exactly.
Yes.
So
All right.
boom.
Have a great week. We
Out of my
will
face.
see you next Let's Talk About It Tuesday.
A man. Respect.